Yo, what's happening, YouTube family? So recently I came across a LinkedIn post by a designer named Tony Mura who said that there is not a right way to go about getting a UX design job. And this is something that totally resonated with me. And I wanted to share it out with you all because this is coming from somebody who's been doing this for a very long time. He says that he's been doing UX and product design for over 30 years. And I wanted to share the content that he shared on LinkedIn because this is something that really resonated with a lot of other designers in the community. People were reposting it, commenting, and things of that nature. So let me just jump into what he said here. So he says, UX designers, oh my God, there's more people with a UX background telling you what you need to do. The 5 things you need to do to become a better designer, the 32 things you need to think about, etc. Want to know a secret? Come here. You don't need to do any of those really. If you're new to UX, this can all be confusing, and it is. It's also sad that you are getting carpet bombed with so much information, and in reality, it's not going to help you in the end. This might help you to think of it this way. You wanted to jump into a career that, by its very definition, is to take complex problems and solve them as simply and cleanly as possible. Think about that. So then you let your fingers do the typing and find thousands of bits of information. Go right, go left, go in a circle, now straight. Oh, what? Now, this might trigger some people. On just about every project over my 30 years of UX, I always ask myself how simple would I want this to be. I would keep that to myself like an echo. In doing research with users, I would look at what they were telling me and evaluate that echo. I would take what they were telling me, and if I could, simplify even further. No, I wasn't the end user, but I am human and can empathize on what they need based on what I'm being told. There is zero formula for being a UX designer. Zero. And he emphasized that. There is no 1 + 1 = 2. Stop looking for one. Take bits of parts you like, I mean small bits of what you read and what you hear. Make them your own. A project and or a client will inform you what works and what doesn't real quick. The first thing to understand, Neo, is that there is no spoon. Neo in the Matrix was getting caught up in everything. When he just needed to be told, it was only about what he could understand and create. In the end, UX and you as a designer is what you make out of it and how you create your own formula on what works for you. Not you trying to figure out what worked for someone else and follow that, right? And a lot of people resonated with this. So I wanted to give you guys my interpretation and my understanding of this, right? So when he said that there are a lot of people giving their opinions, right? There really is a lot more people out here giving opinions. Back in 2014 when I started, there was not too many people who talked about UX on YouTube. There was Mike Locke, there was another designer, I think his name is Rent from Flux, but not many people were out here, right? Um, so nowadays, everybody and their uncle, their daughters, everybody wants to be a UX designer or a product designer. If they haven't jumped on Chat GPT already, right? So there's a lot of people out here that have gotten an in, and now they're giving their voice to how you should go about your own career. And usually, what I see is that people want a process, right? People need structure, but what worked for them and that person that you admire doesn't necessarily mean that's going to work for you, especially in this context of time right now and the experience that people are going through getting laid off and all of that, right? So I think that what worked for somebody worked in their time period of when they got started. It worked based on what resources they had at that time, right? And the market that they were in. So just keep all of those things in mind, right? And yes, this can all be very confusing because there's a lot more information out here, right? A lot more people got in, they broke in, they transitioned into UX, so it can be very confusing, right? And our jobs, in the nature of it, is to simplify, right? And the way that you think about getting a job you might think about it like this needs to be simplified. I need to do A, and that's going to lead me to B. But UX, the reality of it is that it's all very messy, right? The process is very messy. When you get in a company, the process of getting a job can be ridiculous, right? You go on 10, 20 different interviews at some time in some companies, right? It's very messy. And when he says, now this might trigger somebody on just about every project, 30 years, that's what he was thinking about, right? How do I simplify this? And the reality is that you can't simplify, right? And when he said there's no formula, there really is not. Like I said earlier, it all depends on the time that you're living through, the experience that you have professionally and personally, and your interest, right? So all of those things inform how you go about making your own path. So it is really what you make of it. And that's something that I really agree with, right? In this time right now where you see everybody getting laid off because of AI and this new technology and the market that we're in, I would think, in my opinion, that in this time, you can really leverage the information and the tools that are out here. So not only could you make a prototype, you could make the idea actually come to life. You could build an app in the iOS app store, in the iOS store or the Google store. You could build something using AI. You could build out, you don't need to be an amazing illustrator anymore. You could actually build something in Midjourney, right? Create a fantastic portfolio with a bunch of different visuals, right? And you explain that, think about it deeply. You could basically create any idea right now and make something from it. Like we living in crazy times. Like this is wild, right? So there is no formula, like Tony said. Just make something based off of the formula that is already within you, with your God-given talents, with the problems that you see in the world, and like just know that there's no limits anymore. There really is no limits, right? We are in a creative renaissance, right? Before robots take over, just understand that you have so many tools now at your disposal. So take advantage of it, right? So yeah, guys, what worked yesterday is not going to work today. What works today probably won't work tomorrow. Find your path, create it, and make the vision happen, man. So yeah, guys, I hope that this inspires you. If it did, you already know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.